You know, sometimes collecting retro technology has its advantages. Hello and welcome to Cobalt Retro Tech. Hope you're having an amazing day. I've been waiting the entire time I've had this channel to look at a computer like this. Literally the entire time I've had this channel. Technically, even before I've had this channel, I've wanted to own a computer like this. This is an AST Advantage Adventure 6066D. Little bit of a tongue twister of a name, but what this is an Intel 486 DX2 based computer. That is a type of processor that Intel released before the Pentium 1. And if I get my dates right, that should date this computer sometime in 1992-ish. That's right, before 1995, which means before Windows 95. For the most part, this machine is meant to run DOS and Windows 3.1, which I have a little bit of a soft spot for because of how much of a nerd I am. See, way back in, I want to say 2015, 2016, kind of in that era where Alienware was still making the Alienware Alpha, in an attempt to make myself appreciate the Alienware Alpha even more, I made myself install DOSBox on the computer that I had at the time, an Alienware M17X, and I made myself only use DOS and Windows 3.1 programs until I got that machine. At least for applications where I didn't need to go online to submit a paper for an online assignment or, stuff like that. If I wanted to play a game on my computer, I was stuck playing Doom and stuff like that. And even though it was a really weird decision on my part, it got me used to the concept of a command line, and that's how I can be relatively comfortable navigating the Linux command line. But now this is the real deal. This is an actual real DOS machine, and I've wanted a DOS computer exactly like this for longer than Cobalt Retro Tech has been a thing. So we're definitely going to get into the software in just a minute, but talking a little bit about the hardware, as I said, this is a 486 DX2, which means that this is a computer running at 66 megahertz. That's right. Not even 100 megahertz, 66 megahertz, and I chose that for a specific reason. It should have 8 megabytes of RAM, 16-bit sound. It actually has an 8-bit dial-up. 8-bit. It actually has a built-in dial-up modem, and as you can see here, it has a CD, looks like CD-ROM. Doesn't look like the original CD-ROM, judging by the faceplate. One specific thing that I'm actually a little bit excited for, assuming it does work, this floppy drive. I've never actually owned a computer with a built-in floppy drive. So in another way, I've actually been preparing for this computer for like 8 years. Because again, before Cobalt Retro Tech was a thing, I got floppy disks. And an external floppy disk drive. That's USB. In the past, especially in the Windows ME video when I was talking about an external floppy disk drive that wouldn't work with my Pentium laptop, this was the guy that I was talking about. I now get to actually use this on hardware that it was intended for. Granted, these are likely floppies that were made well past the 2000s, or at least well past the 90s. If you don't know, floppy disks, the newer they are made, the less reliable they are known to be. The files that are on the disks that have been written to are probably not there anymore. But, yeah, we'll give it a shot. And, one thing I find really, really funny about this machine in particular, aside from the fact that what appears to be the hard drive down here being incredibly rusted, the original hard drive, assuming it does still have its original hard drive, is a 420 megabyte hard drive. So, let's see if that's actually true, huh? Okay. Good start, no magic smoke. Sounds normal so far. Okay. Cool. CMOS battery looks like it's dead. Keyboard is doing stuff. Insert a system disk and press enter. I don't hear a hard drive, but that's okay. Okay. Assuming that hard drive is IDE based, I do have a way to get a hard drive going. I do have two SD to IDE adapters. Hopefully that would work with this machine. Actually, hold on. This might be a touch risky considering I don't even have a way to clean a floppy disk drive. And I'm not even sure if the files are still good on here, but it looks like I experimented with a DOS boost. Oh my god, that's so hard for me to say. Looks like I experimented with putting DOS on a floppy disk in the past. So, YOLO, I guess. Sounds like it's trying to do something with the floppy disk drive. Well, good thing I have that external floppy disk drive. We'll see if I can figure it out that way. Starting off, I found a copy of DOS 6.22 on the internet. Assuming this is a bootable copy, this is from allbootdisks.com. I believe it was .com. So, if this doesn't boot, I don't recommend that site. But in theory, that should work. F1. Ooh, floppy disk is doing things. Starting FS. FS. What? What am I saying? Starting MS-DOS, baby. Cool. Hell yeah. Banana. Awesome. We are booting into DOS, baby. I gotta say, that floppy disk drive is a lot quieter than I thought it would be. Which is good, I'm not complaining. So, okay, that's the contents of this specific disk. Is there a setup program? No. Can I see the C drive at all? No. I'm a little bit concerned that I can't see the C drive. I don't hear it or feel it at all. I'm not surprised though, considering how rusty that drive is. Make it a little bit more readable. Ah, there's the file. And that's saved on there, so I shouldn't lose that unless something happens to the floppy. Whether or not I'm going to be running DOS or Windows or whatever, I'm definitely going to need to get some kind of hard drive going on here. So we're going to have to start taking this thing apart. Oh, would you look at that? Okay. I haven't done this in quite a while. Ugh. Look at this guy.
You see what this is? This is a warranty seal. You know what we do with these on this channel? We flip those off. Screw these guys. Screw the warranty. It's invalid anyways. Because this thing is like over 30 years old. There's no CMOS battery. Maybe the warranty was already broken anyways. Okay then. Well still, I flip warranty stickers off because I hate things. Oh! Oh! Ho! Ho 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 ho! Oh, I'm nerding out so hard right now! Ho ho! Score! Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, breathe. Breathe. You see this shit right here? Yeah, no, that ain't an Intel 486. That's a Cyrix 486. That's a Cyrix. I thought I was getting an Intel 486. In my opinion, this is cooler because this is okay. I need to breathe. So, in my opinion, this is cooler than what I thought I had because Cyrix was a competitor, a direct competitor to Intel back in the day. Now, granted, I'm no expert on how these things work or what the exact history is, but from what I understand on computing history, Cyrix actually kind of did their own thing in a manner of speaking with the x86 architecture. So it's not a straight up clone in the same way that AMD does with the Intel architecture. It's essentially Intel compatible, but they did it in their own way, so it's not a straight up clone. In my opinion, that makes Cyrix much more of an interesting competitor because instead of just straight up using Intel's design but making it better, to the best of my knowledge, Cyrix did their own thing very loosely based off of Intel's design. It still uses the footprint of a 486, and in my opinion, that makes it more of an interesting competitor. So, in my opinion, this was a better score than I expected. Because even though everyone wants the Intel chips, honestly, as long as the Cyrix chips can run the stuff that I want, which I'm pretty sure it will because it still runs at 66 megahertz, I actually lucked out because I also wanted to get a Cyrix machine. So, yeah, that hence my reaction. So it looks like I didn't get footage of it before I started messing with it because I don't know, because I got tunnel vision. So it looks like what's underneath the floppy drive here is the hard drive. Looks like the power wasn't even plugged in. I'm not sure why the power wasn't plugged in, but the ribbon cable for the data was. So I'm not sure what was going on there. So maybe we can actually see what was on the drive, and maybe we can confirm where this computer even was before I got my hands on it. And maybe it was running some kind of DOS or Windows 95, maybe even Windows 98 if they asked nicely. So I got everything connected again, and it's just occurred to me that this case has this giant something just
why? I don't understand. This is completely covered by a case badge. Just why? So everything's plugged in, including power to that hard drive. I think I'm out of CR2032s. Don't worry, I'm going to get another pack and put in a CR2032. I need to know that hard drive is working or not before I continue. Oh, there we go. There we go. I hear the hard drive now. All right, let's see what's going on here, huh? He's beeping. PC speaker beeping. Ooh, still can't start. What does that mean? Does that mean the hard drive is configured incorrectly? Does that mean someone wiped the drive? If someone wiped the drive, why didn't they unplug it? Valid drive specification. Crap. Oh! There we go. Last time I tried to get into the BIOS, it straight up didn't work. Okay. Okay, boot from floppy. Makes sense. Try hard drive first. Hard drives. Integrated first hard disk. Type. It said none. It did say none. So maybe the BIOS just was configured to not see that at all? Huh. Weird. Alright, let's exit saving changes. Hopefully you can save changes without needing the battery. Okay. Looks like it's trying to... Whoa, it's doing something different. What the hell? I think it loaded from the hard drive. It loaded from the hard drive. Holy dude. Hell yeah. What the... Okay. So... wow, I've never seen antivirus program this old. What the hell? Okay. So this very likely did come from an office environment because I don't think very many consumers actually ran an antivirus software at home. This is a trip, dude. This is a trip. Let's see if I can get that centered more correctly here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The hard drive is doing its thing. I don't want the... get off of the screen. Looks like the current resolution is 720 by 400 at 70 hertz. Interesting. Okay. Stop.
I don't really want the virus check to trash anything right now. This is, wow, okay. Whoa! It came with Windows 3! Holy cow! This is freaking awesome! Woo! This is what we live for here on Kobo Retro Tech, baby. Holy! Microsoft Word? Hell yeah! Office software, baby! This is super exciting! There's probably a lot more in here, but I'm gonna need a mouse if we're going into Windows already. I was fully prepared to fully set up Windows by myself, but holy crap, I already have Windows installed, and all I had to do was configure the hard disk to just work and plug in the power for the hard disk. What the hell is going on here? Okay, I know it's a little bit jarring going to a jump cut to the computer turned off, but assuming this system is running off of PS2 ports for the keyboard and mouse, at least I really hope that's the case. I do have one PS2 mouse, but unfortunately it is a ball mouse. This is not a proper merch announcement, but I have been thinking about Cobalt Retro Tech merch for a long time now. You can see this is based off of one of my really old logos. So, unfortunately, I don't have the capital to launch merch right now. Hint, hint, if you do want to see this kind of stuff, I do have a Patreon linked in the description below. But this is what I'm going to be using to get the mouse going on this system, assuming the mouse does work with this system. Sweet. Okay, I lucked out. It is PS2. I mean, it is a 486, so I would be surprised if it wasn't based off of PS2, especially as a business thing. It would be kind of dumb to have it be based off of AT or something older, but still, I don't have a serial mouse or anything like that. So, yeah, we lucked out. And again, if you want to see a CRT mouse pad, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to help support that, I do have a Patreon linked in the description. I was only going into this in the hope that this computer would only just work. Lo and behold, does this thing mostly just work? I inherited a business's Windows 3.1 install, which I'm a little bit mixed on, because on one hand, you should wipe your hard drives, especially if it contains proprietary information. But on the other hand, this is amazing for documentation and historical contexts. So, I'm flustered. And I'm pretty sure this thing has something that's Sound Blaster compatible, so I'm going to plug in some speakers. They're not good speakers. They're Amazon Basic speakers that I got quite a handful of years ago, so yeah, they're not good, but they should at least be able to let us hear what this machine can output. No, it's working. It's working. Cool. Sony CD-ROM. Oh, okay. That's more specific than a generic banana driver. Okay. No! Don't do that. Okay. I might want to turn off the antivirus thing. Never mind. That's going to take way too long, and I am impatient. Oh, there's games on here. Oh, what? Myst? Doesn't that require CD? I think, does that require CD? Yes, it does. Oh my god, that would have been so cool. I didn't expect actual, whoa, okay. Let's not bump the camera. I didn't expect actual games to be on here. Looks like some kind of Snake clone? New level 1.
Okay, some kind of, yeah, something snake related. Huh. Oh. Interesting. Did not behave like I expected it to. Friggin' games? Seriously, I didn't expect games to be on here. Donald. Yeah, there was at least one employee at cannot read from drive D. Oh, it needs a CD. Okay, that explains the icon then. Interesting how this company lets this employee play some games at work. Tick Tactics and a chess game. Interesting. Tick Tactics. Is that just tic tac toe? That is just tic tac toe. Huh. Okay. Sound Blaster 16. Looks like it is a genuine Sound Blaster 16. Okay. Sound Blaster stuff is installed, so why is it being quiet? ST Works. Wow, there's a lot on here. Logitech? Is that what that is? This icon down here. What is this? Logitech SenseWare? Why would you want right click to be double click? Whoa. Look at that Logitech logo. What? Okay, left hand mode. Interesting. Okay, that definitely works correctly. Control panel. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. I've tried all of the things and it's not working. Setup. Setup. That's not a setup, that's just info. Okay, so, as it turns out, for whatever reason, the Sound Blaster 16 drivers are too big for a single floppy, so I'm gonna try to use the CDR in Windows. And I'm hoping that I could use the setup utility. Let me zoom out just a little bit. I'm hoping I can use the setup utility to figure out why the Sound Blaster isn't blasting sound. It is a CD-ROM drive, I believe. But I remember being able to use CDRs with a CD-ROM on my iMac G3. So, knock on wood, I hope this should be able to work. So if not, this is about to get complicated. What do you mean installation disk? What do you mean installation disk? Really? 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 It's gonna crash? It crashes exiting the DOS. I've never seen that before. Oh, boy. Alright, 3-finger salute it is. Right as I stop recording, blue screen. Okay, interesting. Huh. In my defense, this is my first time using Windows 3.1 on real hardware. What the hell is it doing? I double click and it does this. And task. I think I'm soft locked. What the hell do I do? Okay, so right now I have this IDE to SD card adapter. I really hope it works with this particular machine. I have heard that some of these guys can be a bit picky when it comes to working with retro machines. This guy has been sitting in my PowerMac G5 for a little while, so I know it works. I just, things can be picky because reasons. So, right now the plan is to unplug the hard drive, have this be in its place, and attempt to install DOS and Windows 3.1. That board has a few LEDs on it, and they are piercing my eyeballs. Which is great. I hate being a light-sensitive individual. Let's see. Can it see? I doubt that it can see the drive as it is right now. Format. Does it have a format utility? Format. C. Okay, so I found a copy of MS-DOS 6, the installer version of it, so hopefully this should work. I was using WinImage for this floppy. It was complaining about some sector issues right at the very end, so hopefully this should work. We will see what happens, though. So let's 3-finger salute and let's go figure out what's gonna happen here. Good news. It did boot the installer. Bad news is it didn't detect the hard drive. I'm not panicking yet, though. F-disk. Is that on there? Yes, it is. How did I not see that? Error reading fixed disk. Oh.
the IDE cable isn't sitting in there all the way. That would, that would do it. Ooh, this is immediately a different screen. Okay, that was the problem all along. It wasn't plugged in correctly. Okay. And it's already formatting. Primary partition is too small. It's a 4 gigabyte drive. So either it's getting confused. Well, either way, it's getting confused. So, F disk. More like F disk. That was weird. I think this is pre-formatted as FAT32 or exFAT, something that DOS doesn't understand. So I'm gonna go ahead and nuke this. Volume label. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. Escape to continue. So create DOS partition. Create primary DOS partition. Yes. Okay. So I'm not 100% sure what it's going to do now, but I assume it's going to format the SD card. Or just go to the setup utility. Okay, that works too. Format this drive. And it's going to do whatever it's going to do. And it's actually formatting it. Cool. I don't understand why it thinks it's 1980, considering the PC platform didn't exist until like 1984, but whatever. I'll fix that later. DOS. Yeah. Hey. That was a great time to fill out your registration card. Yeah, because Microsoft's really going to care that I'm installing DOS 6.22 late 2025. As a matter of fact, they're going to be pretty mad that I'm going to be doing that, considering they want me to use Windows 11. Which, by the way, Microsoft, I already paid like $120 for your operating system. I would appreciate it if you would stop putting advertisements in your flagship operating system that I paid for. Now, at this point, we're getting to the boring part of installing an operating system, so I guess I will get back to you when either something goes wrong or the system is done installing. Problems. Alright, I rewrote the drive, but there was still one sector error right at the end, so let's try that again. Okay. Something went wrong. That is System Disk 1. Okay. I knew this wasn't gonna be easy. Oh boy. Okay, so what I was doing with the floppy disk images is I was taking those images that I got online and writing them directly to the floppy disk with WinImager, and for whatever reason it was not at first, but eventually started throwing out sector errors when I was starting to throw the DOS boot floppies onto actual floppy disks. So what I did, instead of using that program to directly write the floppy disks, I used that program to extract the floppy disk files onto the hard drive of my Windows 11 PC and then put them directly onto the floppy disk using Windows Explorer instead of using that program directly, so I didn't get any errors this time, so we'll see if this works. I am really confused now. What the hell is going on? Okay, got disk 1 here written without any sector errors. So hopefully I can actually get this system installed without any issues. Knock on wood. Holy crap. So what I think I'm going to do is hopefully I actually found a good disk that will just take writing to it well, and hopefully using the format then write rather than just write option in WinImage will help. But hopefully I should be able to get this actually going. No, it does not already have MS-DOS installed on it. Okay, for whatever reason, this CD drive is not working. I don't know if it's just... I don't know if the hardware isn't working or if it's a driver thing or what. Alright, disk 2. Bam! Come on. Oh yeah! 26%, baby! I just sat down. Okay. Be that way. And disk 3. Come on. Get in there. Cool. And press enter. Sweet. MS-DOS 6.22 installed. That was a boot loop. I don't like a boot loop. It's supposed to be booting DOS. Why is it boot looping? Why is it boot looping? It shouldn't be boot looping. Auto for the hard drive. Try hard drive first. Security. Wow. Even that far back I had a user password system. Okay, come on. Please boot the hard drive. Wow, up until now it was going great. Okay, I think I can see that I can just take out this faceplate with a little bit of force. It's a rusted faceplate anyways, so I kind of don't want this system. Ah! Okay. Got that taken out. Yeah, there really is no hard drive in that other bay. That's okay. I'm actually thinking that 4 gigabyte partition is actually like genuinely too big for DOS to handle. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is reinstall DOS, but this time use fdisk to try to make a 512 gig partition and have the DOS installer install DOS onto that instead of trying to cram it into a 4 gig partition. In theory, it could install onto a 4 gig partition, but it could just be flipping because of reasons. Okay, for some reason it says it's 2 gigabytes.
Yeah, they're 4 gig cards, so I'm not sure what the hell it's doing. So D is 2 gigs, E is 1 gig-ish. Okay. So hopefully that should help. Okay, something somewhere is clearly going stupid. So considering that this DVD drive is not working correctly at the moment, I don't know if it's a driver issue or a hardware thing. I'm going to attempt to remove it. You know, I just want to take out the DVD drive, but in classic early PC fashion, that also means I have to take out way more than just the DVD drive. I keep saying DVD drive. The CD drive. It's not a DVD drive. It's a CD drive. Come on, man. Get this right. It's not that hard. Okay, this is actually infuriating. Excuse my language. In order to take out the disk drive, I've got to take out the floppy disk drive and the hard drive, and they're all squished into one friggin' like sled thing. And I'm actually kind of lucky that I don't have another 5 1/4 thing, because that could make it so that I can't even do this. No wonder computing was definitely very much a nerd thing until basically after I was born. Well after I was born, because like, wow. I thought modern computing was annoying to deal with. This is just, what the f***? And we should be able to like, slide it out. Somehow. Either out this way or out this way. Somehow. We unplug things. That should help. What is it hung up on now? Oh. Yeah, that would probably do it. There's a screw right here. And that feels like that's what's holding down the fulcrum right there. Oh, yeah. I unscrewed everything and whoop. Right, and I should be able to just put this back as is. Trying not to crush a bunch of cables. Okay, apparently I wasn't recording there for a little while, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I left off there, but I'm trying to get both the SD card adapter and the hard drive going at the same time. So, apologies for the vertical video, but I have the CD drive that was plugged into the 486 into my Power Mac here. It does appear that it is trying to read this disc here. It sounds like it's healthy. It's not booting anything, obviously. It's supposed to be booting into a network installer for Debian. Surprisingly, Debian allegedly still puts out PowerPC network installers. Okay, well first I'm going to attempt just a vanilla copy. I have just a folder in my home folder here. It's under 46PC, not DD. I'm just going to paste. It's probably going to take a hot second because it's on an old hard drive. About 3 minutes. That's actually not too bad. Okay, so the vanilla file copy is almost done. And I believe I have the appropriate DD command. So that's the not DD directory. It's so I can have everything accessible from a more modern operating system. And then this one should put this into a hard drive image. I hope you can see that okay. It's a little bit hazy, but that should work. So hopefully this works. I'm hearing a bunch more activity. And this might copy the entire state of the drive, I'm not sure. So this might take a little bit longer than a couple of minutes, but it's only about 420 megs, so it shouldn't take that much longer. Linux appears to be reporting it as about 420 megs, 427 megs, but that might be megabytes, not megabytes. I don't know, computers are weird and conflicting when they report sizes, so I'm not entirely sure who to believe, but 420 is still funny. But, yeah, you know things are getting weird with computers when I need to involve 3 computers when I need to do one thing with a computer. Alright, it looks like it did the whole thing. So, it looks like I now have a copy. Yeah, 428 megs. Oh, wow! Okay, so... that whole hard drive, 428 megs. Just Windows and DOS? 13. All of those games and programs and 2 whole operating systems. 13 megabytes. Nowadays we're lucky if a firmware update is 13 megabytes. I have a whole ass system that can run comfortably in 13 megabytes. What the hell has the internet done to computing? Oh my lord! The internet itself has dramatically inflated system requirements, because, like, if it wasn't for Google Chrome, we would still be okay with, like, 2 gigs of RAM. I knew old versions of DOS and Windows were small, but seeing that 13 megabytes after using Windows 3.1 for the first time on real hardware today, it really hits home just how bloated modern everything is. Most of the iOS updates I've downloaded in the last 3 months have each been at least 100 megabytes. So it formatted... Yeah, okay. I forgot that I formatted the drive and I wasn't DDing the drive. Alright, let's see if I can just do things from here. Restore partition image to restore from home 486 PC DD. That should work. Yep, doesn't matter. Yep, doesn't matter, it's empty. Hell yeah. Volume 1. Gotta put in a password to mount it because reasons. There we go. Okay. And we should be able to just power off and plug it in. So, again, traditionally, I probably wouldn't take a hard drive image of someone else's data like that, but in this situation, I think I'm going to make a little bit of an exception to that company that owned this machine before me. I do apologize, but in my specific situation, if I were to blank out that hard drive, I probably wouldn't be able to get this machine back to a usable state because of how temperamental this hardware is being. That being said, I have the floppy drive plugged in and the SD card adapter plugged in, but not the hard drive. So let's see what happens. The computer isn't plugged in. Please. Please just work. I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't work. I'm kind of starting to think that I need a compact flash thing, because that speaks IDE natively instead of that's spending more money. So I made a post about this computer on the Retro Computing subreddit, and one contributor has pointed out that there's a possibility that this computer might not support hard drives, at least not properly support hard drives that are bigger than about 500 megs. Now, I was aware, technically, that was a possibility coming into this. However, I was under the impression that was more of a, file system limitation rather than a hardware limitation. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking that it's likely that there is something stupid like that regarding this computer going on, which is great because Civilization is more than 600 megs, which means I'm going to have to get a working CD drive or figure out something in that regard. I was able to get a larger partition going with a compact flash card, so now I'm not sure what's going on. So right now, I don't know if it's a partition size issue or the size of the drive issue. So it very well could work just fine in a partition that's like 400 megs. But once you start pushing 500 megs for whatever reason, it starts having problems. That could be the reason why this computer was shipped with a 420 megabyte hard drive. So, right now, I have a FAT12 partition. FAT16? I'm not sure if it's called FAT12 or FAT16, but either way, I have a proper FAT partition. It's 420 point something megabytes. I did it in Linux. And we should be able to install DOS question mark. So that means it can see what's on the compact flash card already. Huh. So does that mean if I Control-Delete and take out the floppy disk, does it now just boot? Because I adjusted the partition size? No. It just hangs, just like last time. Way to get my hopes up there, dude. Come on! Okay, let's try... Damn, that's not even responding to Control-Delete at that point. Wow. Huh. I'm not sure what that 65 kilobyte file is. That doesn't look correct to me. I'll try to format the C drive again. I'll see if that helps. It probably won't. It's just really frustrating that I can use a large capacity drive, but I can't boot to a large capacity drive. A modern equivalent of that would be like, oh hey, yeah, look at this, fancy 200 exabyte NVMe drive. But no, you can't boot to it because it's too big. No, you can only boot to an 8 terabyte NVMe drive. You see how dumb that sounds? Oh, interesting. Just pushing enter does not confirm. I just learned something. Okay. Does that do anything? It does not. What about this? It did something different, but it still didn't really do anything. Let's check the C drive. The test directory and that other weird file are both gone. Okay. Alright, let's see what happens. I'm willing to bet at this point it's not gonna boot. What? What? Holy!
Nope.
It worked! It worked! Holy dude! I've been trying to do that for 3 days! I've been trying to do this 3 days! And the only thing that was getting in the way was the size of the partition! Oh my god! Technology, man! 3 days! Actually, no, it's been more than 3 days! I've been working on this concept in general for about 5 days. So yeah, I've been trying to get this to boot. I've been trying to get this to boot a flash medium for like 3 to 4 days. And it looks like the problem was the size of the partition. And go figure, a 420 megabyte partition fixed the problem. What the hell? Okay then. I'll friggin' take it. Yeah, I just looked at everything again. The IDE cable for the hard drive was totally unplugged. Actually, from now on, I think I'm just gonna have the hard drive completely unplugged so you guys can hear that it's not plugged in. Alright, I got a couple of files on here. We will see if I can do what I want to do. I forgot that I didn't I need to turn this back off. Oh wait, hold on a second. Holy crap, this goes a lot faster on the flash card. I had this scan go for multiple minutes on the original hard drive, but it's literally like genuinely 20 seconds on the flash card. That's insane. Like, literally the only difference is the flash card. That shows you how slow the seek times on hard drives can be. Like, wow. Okay, let's see. How do I customize Windows 3? I did mention before in this video that I have experience with Windows 3.1, but it's been a long time since I've tried to regularly use it. I think it was under accessories, right? Yes, it was accessories. Okay. Was it desktop? Tulip? Edit pattern. That's not what this is back here. Oh my lord, I did not know you can alt tab in Windows 3.1. That's really cool. Oh, here's the wallpaper. Okay. Whoa! Okay. I didn't know that double click feature went that far back. I'm learning a lot about Windows right now. Okay. So, this CRT folder here, I'll address this a little later. CRT logo. Well, I wouldn't say it's not the logo. It's part of the rebrand that I'm trying to do here. I'm not entirely sure. What? Copy is F8 instead of Control C. Wow. Okay. Apparently those BMP files are just straight up in the Windows directory. It's not in any kind of like wallpaper or BMP or like a media directory. It's just straight up in the Windows directory. So I guess... Wow, ball mice really do suck. So I think all we can do is just F8, copy that to C:/Windows / call that good. Didn't do the clicky clack, so I don't know if that worked, but we can easily check. Should be somewhere in here. Ah, here we go. CRT logo.bmp. If I double click on it, there it is. Scroll wheel doesn't work, not even in Paint. Interesting. Okay. So we know old Windows can see it. So at this point, we should be able to grab the control panel, open up desktop here, Win logo, CRT logo, there we go. And that should change it from the bricks thing that was here earlier. Hey, there we go. That doesn't look quite as great as I was hoping it would. But it's a Cobalt Retrotech thing, yeah. Thanks again to ZanyCat for all the channel art that I've been using lately. I really appreciate it. It looks absolutely fantastic. Right, so we have this wave file here. Don't tell anyone. This is an early version of Learning Fusion. Okay, looks like basic wave player. Looks like the creative player. And it works. Shocker. And it actually sounds pretty good given the circumstances. I mean, it's a 16-bit wave file. Not sure if it's the speakers or the bit rate, but that does sound a little bit crushed compared to what I'm used to, but given the circumstances, this sounds great. This one file is like 28 megabytes though, so it does take up a giant chunk of this partition. Oh, hey, look at that, we can scrub. I didn't really expect that for some reason, but hey, old tech be weird sometimes. Yeah, it's a music player, there's not much to say. So, I think I'm gonna leave this here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this video. There's more videos on the way. Might be a little slow sometimes because medical issues, whatever. I'm really trying my best here though. But I will see you in the next video.